Hello, you're welcome to today's free training on how to up your game and double your income. Wondering if you're in the right place? You're in the right place if your expenses today exceed your income and you're barely covering just your needs. You know, your kids might also be about to start school, and so you're wondering, how do you cope? Your husband might be out of a job, so obviously it means you're going to take up a whole lot more in terms of financial responsibilities. In all, you urgently need money now. You're also in the right place if you've been working for a while and you have little or no savings to show for it. You've always wanted to start savings. Now you're serious. You really want to start saving now, but your current income is really overstretched. You don't mind a few tips on how to double your income. And then lastly, you're in the right place if maybe, you're due for a promotion, which obviously comes with more money, but it's not coming as expected. You don't mind some tips on how to up your game, and so you get promoted fast and get this income raised faster. So who am I? My name is Iphie, and I'm a number of things. So I'm a wife of, between 8 to 10 years. So we've been married for 10 years. We've been living together as husband and wife for 8 years. If you ask my husband how long we've been married, he'll say 10 years. If you ask me how long we've been married, he'll say 8 years. I know the different sides of the man. The man thinks a different way, the woman thinks a different way. In all, I've been a wife for 8 to 10 years. I'm a mother of 3 kids. My first is going to be 7 in April, and then my third child is 4. I'm also a career woman. I'm a senior brand manager at one of the leading FMCGs in Nigeria. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder of Deluxe Childbirth Services. We help expectant parents have their babies in the US stress-free, easy, the right way. And I'm also the creator of the Thrive Women's Academy, which is where you are today. Yay! So you're welcome to the premier first ever training of the Thrive Academy. Woo! Yes, I'm very excited. I planned this a long time. So why this webinar? I'm going to take us back to about 5 years ago. I was working in Abuja, and I was leading sales in my region. In the eyes of everybody, I was like an Abuja big girl. I was driving a brand new Honda Civic for that year. I really can't remember, but I knew it was brand new and it was the latest one. But there was so much that as a young couple we were carrying. Sorry, that was my phone. There's so much as a young couple that we were carrying, and what that meant was that I really couldn't afford Mr. Biggs. Like, seriously, we joke about it. So I couldn't afford Mr. Biggs except when I just get paid and I haven't counted my money. So like, we get paid, I withdraw from the bank, the money's in my bag, and I go into Mr. Biggs and I just declare. Like, when I count the money, I can't afford to do that. And now, why am I using Mr. Biggs? Why was it such a big deal for me? I grew up, my mom was a teacher, and so I'm thinking of my entire childhood. We went to Mr. Biggs once, and it wasn't even my mom that took me to Mr. Biggs. It was a rich family friend that took us and his kids to Mr. Biggs. And so Mr. Biggs was really big for me growing up. When I was entering the university, my brothers took their savings and went to Mr. Biggs and bought the whole world. Like, my sister, we're spoiling you, we're so proud of you, you're going to university, let's just chop this money. So that was Mr. Biggs. And now for me, I had finished university, I had graduated top of my class, I was working, in a multinational, I was riding a cool car, I was a big girl. But yet, I couldn't afford these things because there was just a lot that was on myself and my husband. To make things worse, I had worked for over 5-6 years, and I just wasn't getting promoted at work. Yes, I had taken a conscious decision to move departments, which obviously would slow down the whole promotion, the speed of promotion. But then I was actually beginning to lose some confidence in myself. I had also tried out a number of businesses, so I had like 2 or 3 failed businesses in my pocket, because obviously, so cash is not coming as you expect, or actually what is waiting for the cash is a whole lot more than the cash. You're not getting promoted, so you cannot even increase the cash. So I tried out smaller businesses and they were not working. All the money I invested was getting lost. I was sad. I was unhappy. It was causing a rift between myself and my husband. Because obviously we were a young couple, we had a lot. He's the firstborn, I'm the firstborn. There was just a lot. I would talk about his like the relationship part on a separate training. But for this training, we're talking about upping your game to double your income. And so, what happened? I went through I like to call it a come to Jesus moment. So, when yourself and your God, you've hit the wall and you're like, God, what do I really do? And there were several things that I learned in that experience or in that encounter that I put to work. And for me, success of those things that I had learned meant that 1, I was going to get promoted. 2, I was going to start a business that was going to bring me at least 5 million naira in a year. And then thirdly, I was going to launch what I called Project Mama Life. I was very passionate about giving back to the community. So from that business, I would have launched a community outreach program. So those were the 3 things for me that would be success out of what I had learned during that Come to Jesus discussion. And so today what I'm going to be sharing are those things. Because today, which is 5 years down the line, I actually have done all that. So I got promoted at work. I started out Deluxe Childbirth Services. And last year, we started out our community outreach program, which we worked with in partnership with UNFPA and USAID. And we gave out birth kits to improve maternal health in IDP camps. It was really beautiful because it just felt like I had these 3 success measures that I really was pulling out of nowhere, and today it's all come to pass. So I'm going to be teaching you what I learned and how I put it to play so that you can put it to play in your own life. But first of all, the question is, why even bother? Like, seriously, I could just stay at home and sleep. Okay, I wish. But really, why bother? Number 1 is, you are where you are today because of who you were. But where you go from today depends entirely on who you choose to be. So basically, your future depends on who you choose to be today. If you choose to be that person that you want to see in your future, you will be that person. If you make no choice at all, whoever you see there, take it. That's your problem. But in a nutshell, your future depends on who you choose to be today. The second reason I love this quote is from Nelson Mandela. It says, "There's no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less capable than the one you are, that is less than the one you are capable of living." Net, you are made for more. Why settle for less? Like, seriously, why settle for less? There's nothing there. There's no passion. The passion comes when you live the life that you're capable of living. You never will know what you're capable of living until you ask yourself. And that's the whole essence. Why bother? And then the third reason, which ties nicely into our topic today, is that your income seldomly exceeds your personal development. If you want to get more money, you need to do more on yourself. That will increase the value that you offer, and that's what's going to bring more money to you. Okay, so I'm assuming now that you're bought, I really need to do this. So I'm ready to start. I want to up my game like yesterday. Where do I begin? We're going to do a short exercise. Creative exercise. So the picture here is a picture of the Dubai airport. Yeah. So I want you to imagine yourself in 5 years from now. You're in this airport. Okay? You're in the lounge, and then you see your friend from like, oh my God, maybe like 6 years ago. You haven't seen that friend in a while. And the friend comes up, "Hey, Big Bay, what's up?" And you hug, you kiss, "Oh, how have you been?" And your answer is, "Oh, I've been awesome." She's like, "How is life?" "Life is amazing." "Oh my God, tell me about it." So now what I want us to do in this exercise, close your eyes and imagine. She asked you, "How is life?" And you said, "Life is amazing." What is it about your life that's going to be amazing at that time? You get it? So for example, I see a friend and she's like, "Oh, Iphie, what's up? It's been a long time. How are you?" "Oh, life is amazing." Tell me about it." Also, myself and my husband, at this, we just came back from this trip, I don't know, whatever it is that's going to be your dream life at that point in time. You can break it down into family. So what's happening in your family at that point in time? You can break it down as well into your finances. What's happening in your finances? And then be imagining that your friend is asking you questions. So you say, oh, for example, "Oh my, I just won I'm talking realistic stuff. So if this is it for you, then you can say, you could say something like, oh, we just want the bid to supply sugar to Dangote bakeries, for lack of I don't know any other example, but we just want the bid to supply sugar to Dangote's bakery, you know, or I'm currently producing yogurt and I'm the one that's now supplying all the top hotels in Nigeria. And then your friend says, oh, tell me more. You'll be like, oh my God, we produce like 50,000 bottles a day and we supply all the 20 ShopRite stores. I want you to be as detailed as that. So you break it down into your family, you break it down into your finances, your children, your personal self, you know. If you're struggling with a weight loss issue, whatever it is that you envision as your dream life 5 years from now, I want you to articulate that. Now, the good thing about the fact that this is a video training means that at this point you can pause and shut me up. Like if you talk to the hand. Yeah. So you can shut me up right now and start to write out everything that's important to you. Okay? Okay, I assume you've done that. You shut me up for a while, you put it on pause, and you've written it all out. So you're back now. Great. So now that you're back, we know what your ideal life is going to be. You know what it is. Now, the first step now is from that your ideal life, we need to articulate what your income goal is. So what's your income goal? Out of that ideal life, how much at that point in time would you want to be earning? I don't know. But whatever it is, you need to give me a specific number. It needs to be something that is also measurable. So like really in 5 years time, I can come and say, okay, Ada, open your bank account. I want to see this amount in there and this is what you're earning. Something that's attainable, is also realistic, and is time bound. Obviously, we're already working with 5 years. So in 5 years, this is how much I want to be earning. Okay? You need to have that down. Do you have that down? Cool. I think you do. So we move to step 2. The next step, now that you have your income goal, is to unveil your S.S.G portfolio. Yeah. S.S.G. S.S.G means your skills, your strengths, and your gifts. Another word for gifts could be talents and all that. But we need to unveil this. So many women move around with so much potential in them that it hurts because they're not doing anything with it. So what's your S.S.G portfolio? It's your skills, your strengths, and your gifts. What are your skills? Your skills are those things that you've learned how to do over time, from work, from doing it constantly, and you just know it. So, for example, I told you I was in Abuja. I was doing a sales assignment. So I was working with salespeople. I was teaching my team how to sell. So I had learned how to sell, and I was teaching my team how to sell. What skills did I have? I had selling skills. I had leadership skills. What are the things that you've learned over time? That's one. You need to write all of them out. What are the skills? What are the things you know how to do? What is it from your work? So you've worked in customer service. You have customer service skills. You've worked in business analysis. You have business analysis skills. You've worked in media. You have media skills, brand management skills. Whatever you have learned from work, you have those skills. So you write it out. Your strengths. Your strengths are those things that come to you naturally. So, what are those things that you know how to do that comes to you so naturally that you could keep doing it and not even get bored? What are those things? You need to write them down. I know that I remember when I was doing this, usually your strengths and your gifts are almost, related. Your gifts are also stuff that you do that comes naturally to you. Things that people come to you as well, and then they're asking you, wow, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? So stuff that people ask you, how do you do this? Can you help me with this? Those are your strengths and your gifts. Now, I remember when I was going through this process, I'm really not some people that are just really good, with their fingers, or they know my gift is singing. I love to cook. I love to make beads. They just know what they love to do. Some of us are not like that. Like seriously, I can't sing. Well, I can sing to save myself, but I would have traumatized some people in the process. I can't do anything with my hands. And I remember asking myself, so what do I know how to do? Well, apart from sleeping, which I love to do, but I love my laptop. And I couldn't explain it. So you need to ask the why question. So why, as I said, why do you like your laptop? I love working on my laptop. Doing what? I love browsing the internet, seeing new things, learning new things. I'm signing up for one new course, learning this, asking questions. I like to put together plans. I like challenging situations. I like to create turnaround plans. I like to talk to people. I like to motivate people. I like to help people see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So it doesn't always have to be things like I love to cook, I love to bake. No, it can be really, really soft things like just come alive, you know. When you talk to me, I just feel so happy. When you talk to me, I feel so relaxed. Those kind of things, you need to articulate it, okay? So that's unveiling your SSG portfolio. What are the things you love to do? Okay, and you list out all of them. At the end of this, I'm going to send everybody, I call it, it's a small ebook on how to identify your gifts and then the money-making idea out of all that. It basically would ask you questions, this one, and guide your thinking as you put it into different buckets. So if you're not getting it right now, don't fret. I would send everyone that free ebook, and then you can walk through it to help bring your thoughts into what you really want to do. So that's step 2. After identifying your SSG portfolio, which is everything that you know how to do and you are gifted to do, that you love to do, the step 3 is what else can you trade now? Now this already assumes that you have a job, and so you're trading your time for money. So the question is, what else can I trade now on top of what I trade that I get paid for every month as in the way of a salary? So what else can I do? Is there any way I can turn around any of these skills that I have or any of these strengths that I have to get me income separately so that it augments what I currently get today? And then, of course, there are ways to identify. So, for example, in the book I said I would send to you, you actually would take all these your different strengths and skills, that things that you know how to do naturally, and then we're basically going to be checking what's the income potential behind each of them. A quick and easy way to do this is to go on Google. So, for example, I love to cook, and I put cooking in Google. The way Google is set up, it already starts to show you different things about cooking. So when you put in cooking, it could show what people are searching for with regards to cooking. Cooking for parties, cooking for children's parties, mobile cooking vans. So you start to see the different things that people are looking for when it comes to that your particular keyword. And it starts to already expand your mind to see what you can do from that gift that you have. You can put in singing and you start to see singing at, different things. So the whole idea is to look through all those different elements in your SSG portfolio and think out what is the fastest and easiest thing you can trade now that will get you cash now. There are some gifts in your portfolio that you absolutely know how to do, you love to do, but if you start it now, you will get nothing. And I'll give you an example. So when I had my famous Come to Jesus discussion, the different things I knew how to do, like I said, I don't know how to bake, I don't know how to do all those kind of things. I know how to walk. And I was like, God, I know how to work. And then I broke it down into the different things I knew how to do. And I was joking really when the next thing I said was, I know how to give birth to babies in the US back to back. And so the different ideas that came out was, okay, help people to have their babies in the US back to back. Or at the same time, I love to talk to women. I love to teach women what I have learned. I feel particularly pained when people are teaching women and what I see them teaching women is fluff. It makes me question, do people think that women are stupid or what? Why can't they give us the content that is given to everybody? Why must they water the content for women down? So I was very passionate about that. I really wanted to train women about everything I knew. But the truth was that my life at that point was not credible enough, or I felt that my life at that point was not credible enough to convince a fellow woman, I want to teach you about business. Yes, I had handled my distributor's business. I had doubled his business in my time there. But yeah, it's not my business. It's his business. I just felt I was not credible enough to teach women that. And so I said, you know what? I really love this. Can I trade with it now? Yeah, but I'll do a lot of convincing to get people to believe me. So I packed it. What can I trade with right now? I can help people have their babies in the US, like now. Now, I don't need anything. I just need to talk to the people that were already asking me, Ifoma, how did you do it? And turn it into a business. So what's the guide? When you pull out all the different elements of your S.S.G, the different strengths and skills and gifts that you have, the question is, what can you trade on right now that will give you cash now? And then based on that, we would now work with that one. So in the world of Brahman, we call it like the lowest hanging fruit. So what's the easiest one to start working with now? You need to identify that. Once that is identified, step 4 is to create a plan or plans. There's nothing that says you cannot create 2 plans. I remember after I had, put together this, so this is my portfolio of gifts, strengths and all that. What I wanted to trade with was my knowledge of the US childbirth system. And then what was my plan? Remember, the plans you're putting here is the plans to achieve your dream income goal. So my plan, I actually had 2 plans, was to launch my business and was to get promoted at work. Because some people ask me, so why did you bother so much about work? My job, I love what I do, or I love what I do. I love the company I work for. And for me, it had become a confidence issue. So I'd been at work for like 5-6 years. I hadn't gotten promoted. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to get promoted to prove a point to myself that I wasn't stupid. I was working with the smartest people, and I was one of those smartest people. I mean, it's just for my personal confidence, my personal morale. I've seen people that have gone through that. It's just for your head. And it helps you because it comes out in every other thing that you do. So I had 2 plans actually. One was to launch my business and make it successful, and the other was to get promoted at work. I know it's really stretched, but they actually did work. Okay? So step 4, you need to come out with your plan. What is your plan? Now, you know your income goal, you know what you have today, you know what you can already start to trade on, which by the way, you should have like 1 to 2 ideas, not more than that. If it's too much, it overwhelms you and you don't start. And then based on that, you create your plan or your plans. And then step 5, obviously, when you create a plan, you work at it. You need to execute. A plan that you don't execute, for me, is fiction. Like, it's a story. You should not even bother. Like, seriously, don't even do step 1 to 4 if you know you will not execute. It's so easy for us to plan stuff and not execute. Why? Because, truthfully, sometimes you're afraid. Like, you're afraid, what if it doesn't work? What if I put my whole self into this and it doesn't work? What if it does work? The people that are achieving those things, do they have 2 heads? That's the only question I used to ask myself. I remember then I was in secondary school. There was this girl that used to come first, and I came third, and I was very happy with myself. And I came back home, and my uncle asked me, why did you come third? I'm like, I really tried, uncle, I really tried. And he's like, what of the girl that came first? Does she have 2 heads? And I said, well, she has pink lips. Oh my god, my uncle beat hell out of me. Like, don't play with serious matters. Anyway, back to the discussion. You create a plan, you need to execute. The people out there that have those plans, that are executing, that are living the dream life that you want, they don't have 2 heads. Trust me, if they have pink lips, that's not the reason why they are reaching where they are today. They are reaching where they are today because they stuck to the goal. They executed. They tracked it. So I want to deliver this in 3 months. You don't say I want to deliver this in 3 months and you go and sleep. And 6 months later, you're like, oh, I said I wanted to do this thing or I haven't done it. You're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. And then as you track it, you refine it. Sometimes you check it. Okay, this is not really working. Maybe I should change this and do it like this. All to achieve the end objective. You need to own your plan. Okay? So like the image says, if plan A doesn't work, the alphabet has 25 more letters. Like, seriously. You have a goal. You have plan A, doesn't work. Plan B, plan C. By the time you get to plan E, it will work. Seriously. There must be something. You just can't give up. But you just need to execute, track, and refine so that you get the success that you want. So in summary, once you're clear on your dream life, you need to say, okay, this is my dream income. You set a goal, you make a plan, you get to work, you stick to it, and then you reach your goal. You It really is as easy as that. But then, before we go into the next part of this, I wanted to ask a question. So we've done the exercise of your dream life. What do you think is standing in the way of you achieving that dream life today? Whatever it is, you can just type it in the comments box below this. What is it that is stopping you from living that dream life that you have imagined? Just write it in the comments. Okay? So now we finished. This is part 1 of this training. Now, the question I know that some of you will be thinking, like, man, Iphie, this thing is, 5 simple steps, but it might take a while. After all, I'm going to be taking raw talent that I have and trying to make income out of it. That's why I'm going to blow immediately. It's going to take time. I'm going to have to work at it. Plus the fact I'm going to be doing it with my job, it might take some time. So what can I do now to already increase what is in my hand? So I'm working today, I'm earning 50k. I know you say I should do this extra one with time to get me somewhere. But today I want solution now. What can I do to increase this 50k in my hand? Hold it. I'm not about to tell you to go and do double. What they call those things? They put that double your money doubler. I'm not telling you to go and do that. So just stay with me, okay? What I'm telling you to do is to become significant at what you do today. I like English, I know. Okay, what does it mean to be significant at what you do today? First of all, what do you do today? So you might have a job. If you're here, you might have a business that you do. But there's something that you do today. I need you to become significant at that, to give out more value, because when you do that, you will get more money. How do we do that? I'm going to share with you 7 steps, 7 tips right now on how to do that. The first tip, you need to know your boss, and you need to know your boss well. Who is your boss? So for example, if you work in a company, your boss is the person that has your career in his or her hands. Technically, of course, the person is not God. God owns everything, But there's somebody that is responsible, for example, your evaluation. It could be your manager, it could be your manager's manager, it could be a number of people. Not too many people, but there are certain people that directly impact your evaluation. Who is the person that's going to decide if you get promoted or not? That's a simple way to put it. Most times it's your direct manager. You need to know this person well. Now, this does not mean knowing if the person is married, his wife, where his wife works, how many children he has. No. It has nothing to do with that. That part will come naturally if you have a relationship. What you need to know is what is important to your boss when it comes to this job. What is your boss rated on? What is the number 1 deliverable on your boss's work plan for the year? So example, you work in a bank and your boss is the head of operations. Number 1 deliverable is that, turnaround time when people come to the bank is example 5 minutes. I'm just pulling stuff out of my head. You work for this guy. So if you know that that's what is important to him, how do you help him out? How do you become indispensable to delivering that thing that is important to him? If what is important to him is that people coming into the bank are done in the bank in 15 minutes, how you can be indispensable is that you do your job so fast that the turnaround time, the speed and efficiency is wow, and people are leaving. You're helping him deliver his own objective. You are becoming indispensable. You work in FMCG, you handle a brand. Your boss's number 1 deliverable is to grow that brand by 20% by doing a number of activities. Each activity is supposed to bring in, example, sales worth 1 million naira. Your job is to design and execute those activities. My dear, execute it so well that if it's supposed to bring in 1 million, it brings in 1.5. That is knowing your boss, what is important to him or her, and then positioning yourself to deliver that thing with excellence so that you become an indispensable part of your boss's life. He or she cannot do without you. They know that keeping you happy is making them deliver on their work. You also need to know your boss's work habits. How does he like to receive information? When is When does he like to receive information? Does he like to be told things, every week? Or does he like to be kept in the loop of everything happening? Is he in a good mood in the mornings, or is he better in the afternoons? You need to know your boss. It's like a marriage. You're a wife, you know your husband. When your husband comes back, there's some faces he does. You know that, man, I can't even ask for housekeeping money today. You yourself know. You won't even try it. You need to know your boss like that. Okay? That's one. Number 2, no surprises, please. Now, if you have a business, sorry, let's go back to know your boss. I'm sorry. But we've talked about the working environment. If you run a business, your boss is your customer. You run a salon, the woman that comes to make her hair is your boss, because she's the one that is paying you. You need to know your customers well. What do they want? Are they the kind of customers that when you say, do you like this hairstyle? She's like, I'm not really sure. What she means is, I really hate it. Don't even try it. You need to know her like that. You need to know each of your customers well. What do they want? What are they looking for when it comes to this service? What level of customer service are they used to? What level of quality are they used to? How can I up their game so that I become indispensable? If your clients are you see, people's lives, there's so many things in people's lives that if one particular part is sorted, there really is no need to change it. So if, for example, you're making clothes, how do you know your boss, who is the woman that you're making clothes for, or the man that you're making clothes for, and then you deliver what he wants spot on, so that once he just thinks clothes, he just thinks you. That's knowing your boss well. Okay? So now let's go to number 2. No surprises, please. Please, 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 please. I beg you, in the name of God, no surprises. What do I mean by no surprises? I see it happen a lot of times. So people are working, you're working on a project, and it's about to go sour. You know it's about to go sour. And you are hustling, trying to cover it. And then the morning where your boss, example, is supposed to share that news with maybe his boss, you just come, ma, sorry, actually, the guy that was supposed to bring it, really, the guy, you can't try that. What it means is that you're not dependable. It happens a lot. So, see, does it mean that things will not happen? Things will definitely happen. Things will definitely happen, but you need to give, of course, while you're trying to fix it, you need to already let your manager know. Especially if it's something that's going to affect him or her. So, for example, your manager is supposed to give a presentation to his boss by 10 o'clock. You're supposed to have the place set up by 9:30. By 9 o'clock, the guy is in here. You are still managing it, and you are planning that by 9:27, you go to your boss's table. Well, ma, sorry, they are actually stuck in traffic. If I was the boss, let's not even go to what I'll do. But seriously, what you should have done is by 9 o'clock, he's running late. You go to your boss. Ma, I'm actually talking to the guy that's going to come and set up the office. He's running a little bit late. I'm actually on top of it. I'm calling him. I will keep you posted as we go along. For now, there's no need to fret. 9:10, the guy hasn't come. He said he's at, your office is at Ikeja GRA. The man said he's at Maryland and there's traffic. You know he cannot reach there in time for 8:30. You go back to your boss at 9:10. Ma, he's running a little bit late, but from what I've calculated, it seems that he's going to be here by XYZ time. My suggestion is, I don't know, you should have a suggestion. Either I'm going to already start setting up the smaller things, so that once he comes, we just put the main podium and we can start. Or, if you don't mind, I could send a note to everybody attending the meeting, just asking them to give us, that the meeting will be shifted for 15 minutes, to give us some time for the external party to be able to set up the hall completely. I don't know. But it's better than coming by 9:27 and telling your boss, when she's just carrying her things to go to the room, that the guy is not there. You'll be dead meat. Like you enter black book. So, no surprises. Always keep your people, your superiors updated. While as well, you're trying to fix the issue. Not a case of, as the bomb just landed, you've not even tried to check whether the thing landed, what was the impact. You just run, hey, the man is not coming, no. The man is not coming, no. I just thought I should let you know. No. We're going to say, former said, you should do no surprises, please, no. As you are fixing it, be giving your team updates so that everybody can be prepared. Okay? So we go into number 3, closely related to number 2. So you offer solutions, not problems. Now, whenever there's a challenge, with any job that we do, we are expected to deliver solutions. You should always offer solutions. So we are brainstorming, how do we do this? Don't always think about why it will not work. And why 8 years ago when you did it, it did not work. Or why when this company did it, it will not work. What you should be thinking is, what do we do so that it will work? How do we deliver solutions right now? What is that key to delivering what you want now? And then when you're also bringing this kind of solution, so this causes you to actually think. Some people work today and they don't think. 1 second, please. Sorry, my throat was getting parched. So some people work today and they don't think. They just think it's a case of moving paper from one place to another, sending emails. You're not adding any value. Until you begin to offer solutions, you do not offer any value. You are not top of your manager's list. You need to be the one that offers solutions, that thinks about things deeply and says, I think we can do this. I've seen XYZ person do it. I've seen XYZ company do it. I know that they did this part didn't work, but they did this part worked. I'm thinking if we tweak it like this, it can work for us based on the understanding of our own unique situation. You need to be that person that if you're not in that meeting, your manager will not start that meeting. I'm serious. It's not that difficult. It just takes a little bit of commitment because you're passionate about delivering solutions and not problems. You can say, hey, I'm not delivering problem, I'm just not talking. You're a problem. Because they will soon deliver problem to you. Because by the time you're not adding value, even though you are planning what you can trade by the side, you might get fired before that one that you are trying to trade will actually start to reproduce like really good income that is enough to take care of your needs. So tip number 3, please offer solutions. Think outside the box. Think out ways to make things better. In whatever you're doing, your question should be, how can I make this better? You have a job today. How can I improve the system such that when I'm leaving here, it's better than what I met today? There are some roles that are so routine that it feels like you can't change anything. So after you do A, do B. After you do B, do C. I've seen people. I had a guy that worked with me on my team. His role was that routine, but yet he managed to change things. So when you have a routine job like that, you ask yourself, how can I make this process simpler? How can I make this process easier? How can I make it not different, simpler or easier, such that when I leave this seat, people are going to know that I did something. What's the legacy I'm leaving on this particular job I'm doing? Okay, and that's number 3. Number 4, you need to be willing to learn, but you need to learn fast. See, in today's economy, all of us know there's no money, government has not released budget, dollar is becoming crazy, businesses are stretched. You really need to play your part and play your part well. If you're new or you're just starting out something newly, nobody really has time to teach. You need to be willing to learn from whoever is willing to teach, and you need to learn fast. Very, very fast. Taking everything as fast as possible. Don't wait for someone to teach you. Find out, is there a repertoire of knowledge or documents that have been there from previous people that have handled this job? What can I read? What can I learn from it? I like this saying. It says, don't be afraid to make a mistake, but make sure you don't make the same mistake twice. I tell the people that I work with, it's fine to make a mistake the first time, but please don't make it twice. If you make that mistake twice, it's no longer a mistake, it's intentional. I'm serious. It's as simple as that. You are learning, 1 mistake is allowed. 2 is intentional. You are sabotaging the business. So, in a nutshell, be willing to learn, but please learn fast. Learn so fast, turn every mistake into a permanent learning, a permanent lesson. Please don't make the same mistake twice. When you make a mistake, apologize about it. Don't hide it. Don't try to cover it up. It brews and becomes something bigger. You make a mistake, you quickly acknowledge the fact you've made a mistake, you apologize, you ask yourself separately, what have I learned from this, and what are the things I'm not going to do again, so that you actually don't make the same mistake twice. Most people make a mistake twice because they've not even learned. So I made that mistake, sorry. But if you do not ask yourself, why did I make this mistake? And what have I learned from this that I'm not going to repeat again? When you do that, then it's easier for you not to make that same mistake again. Okay? Number 5, always meet or beat your deadlines. There's a saying, it says, I think it's under promise and over deliver. So whenever you're with your manager or with your customers, anything that you promise your customers you're going to do, any deadline you promise your customers you're going to deliver on, please meet it. Meet it or even beat it. So I said I was going to send you this document by 12 noon. If you can send it by 11, amazing. If you can send it the day before, wonderful. So always meet or beat your deadlines. A nice way of doing this is always also understand how long, for you to meet or beat your deadlines, you need to understand how long does it take me to do this particular job. So example, it will take me 3 hours to meet this job. I know that. So based on that, you can commit 3 hours. Okay? If you do not know how long the job will take you, you say, okay, please let me start and I'll give you an idea of when I would deliver. Or if you're pushed to the wall, then you deliver and you make sure you either do it or you die trying. But whatever you've committed, your promises, you must always keep them. I know several times I've stayed up all night doing a particular task because I committed to deliver it by the next day. You need to work with the mindset of, I just can't show up without this being done. So whatever deadline, whatever promise to your clients, to your bosses, to anybody, please make sure you meet it as much as possible. Make sure you exceed expectations and deliver even before that time. Number 6, this is an interesting one I learned as well. It says you should work right, work smart before you even work hard. What does it mean to work right, smart or hard? So for example, if you look at the picture, let's look at the two guys in the picture. The guy that is working hard is actually carrying the load on his head, so that's hard work. The one that is working smart is leveraging something to help him deliver his job. So he's using like something that has wheels, and he's put the load over it, and then he's just having to push it with his finger. Now, what does it even mean to work right? See, if there were 3 guys, and these 3 guys were told to move 3 loads of hay from point A to point B, or let's say 3 loads of, okay, 3 safes from point A to point B. And now Mr. A took his own, which is carrying on his head. Mr. B took his own, which he put on his sledge. And then Mr. C went and carried a basket. Even if Mr. C gets to the finish line first, did Mr. C deliver the job? No. He didn't work right. He didn't even do the right thing. He carried something else. So the first thing is that you need to even be doing the right thing. What is that job? You need to understand what you are told to do. If you don't understand, please ask questions. Okay, this is what you want me to do. Do you mean this? Do you mean that? Be very, very clear, so that you are doing the right thing, first of all. I remember then when I finished university, I was a member of ISEG. ISEG is an international organization that helps young people have internships in different countries. And I was the president in my school. And usually when you're in those kind of positions, it's easier for you to get internships. But I kept applying for internships and I wasn't getting it. And I applied for 3 and I wasn't selected. And I was beginning to wonder what was wrong. Guess what I was doing? There's a place you're supposed to upload your passport photograph. I wasn't doing it. So I would send my application, really beautiful. There was no passport photograph. And because lots of people send applications, they look for the smallest things to help sieve out. My passport wasn't there. I wasn't reading the instructions. I actually thought they said that you can send passports when you're selected. I'm not joking. So for 3 tries, I wasn't taken. Do you know that the first try I did, and I got it like, oh my God, I'm supposed to have put my passport in here, scanned it and uploaded. The first time I did it, I got selected. I actually got an internship, but by then I had already started working here with the company I work for, which for me was a dream job. And so I declined the offer. So the first thing is you need to work right. Now, when you now work right, you need to work smart. What is the easier way to get this thing done? There is always an easier way, except you don't ask. And I don't mean easy in terms of deceptive, mischievous, easier way. I mean legit easier way. So for example, you're filling an Excel sheet. Column A multiplied by column B is supposed to give you column C. You don't have to start putting the formulas for each of the columns from 1 to 100. I know, you are laughing. I did it in my first year at work. I didn't know. I was calculating everything and putting the formula in each cell, one after the other. I didn't know. So, you don't have to do that. You can just drag it from the first cell to the 100th cell, and it's done in less than 1 minute. That's working smart. Then after working smart, you now work hard, which is putting your whole self at it. So if you were supposed to do 10 sheets, you do your 10 sheets. Instead of doing your 10 sheets in 1 hour, you do your 10 sheets in 20 minutes. You're exceeding expectations because you're working right, you're working smart, you put your whole self to it, you deliver that job, and you exceed expectations. Oh my God, you're a superstar already. Like your name will just be raining, you'll be singing, hey, this other girl, she's just amazing. Has your number of heads changed? No. Do you now have pink lips? No. Well, if you wore pink lipstick that day, yes, you have pink lips. But seriously, it's just these little tips, okay? So whenever you get a task, you ask yourself, how am I going to be working right? How am I going to be working smart? Before you start working hard at it. Number 7, you need to invest in yourself. I don't get it, how people don't read anymore. How do you want to grow if you do not read? There was a saying, it says you can hide, I think it said you can hide a fortune or so from an African man, you hide it inside a book. It needs to change. You can't learn anything if you're not reading. Have an attitude of learning, even if it's 1 book a month, start there. And when you want to read, don't just go and buy this book because they said, this is a new book that came. No. You ask yourself, what do I want to learn? That's one way to do it. Or, remember that dream life you painted, right? You know where you are today. What's the knowledge I need? What are the things I need to know for me to move from where I am today to that dream life? Those are the kind of books that you read. So that at least you're drawn to the book, you enjoy reading the book, you would love it. Okay? So please invest in yourself. Investing in yourself is not being selfish. Self-love is not selfish. This is taking care of yourself so that there is a you that can stand competition, that can stand whatever would have changed in the future. If you don't develop yourself, you become obsolete in future. I'm not joking. You become obsolete. So late. Man, I used to wish I could rap when I was younger, but it didn't come out in my S.S.G portfolio, so I left it. So what's your next step? We are very, very clear on the 7 tips. I really would encourage you to apply to your life. There are so many of them. Remember, we had talked the part 1 of what you need to do to take from what you currently have today, to trade it for more money, to get you towards that dream income. That was part 1. And then and I asked you that, what's that your dream life and what's stopping you from delivering that dream life? You should put that in the comments below so that I can also see it and help you out, because sometimes if something is holding you, it might limit you even with all the training. So if I know it, I can help you as well to achieve your dreams. And then we talked about what are you currently doing today, and then how do you increase it so that you get something great out of it. So what's the next step? The next step is 3 things. You're going to write out all the things you do today. Sorry for the brief interruption. My kids are looking for mommy. Okay, so we've written out a number of things. You're going to review your entire life, from your dream life, where you are today, all these things you've learned. And you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. What is it today that I'm going to stop doing? Okay? What is it that I'm going to continue doing? And what is it that I'm going to start doing? In my case, when I put my plans together, and I remember I told you I had 2 plans. One was to get promoted and one was to launch my business. The first thing I was going to stop doing was I was going to stop being bitter. I was very angry. I felt I had spent too much time on the job, in that role, and I should have gotten promoted. And unconsciously it was coming out. Until my friend gave me the feedback, I didn't know. I just felt it's a job now, I'm doing my job. I didn't know that the unhappiness I felt was polluting the environment. Of course, when you're bad technically, or you're unhappy, you're not the best person to be giving a more younger team to handle. So I had to stop that. What are things you're doing now that you need to continue? I needed to continue loving my job. I needed to continue to enjoy what I did. But I needed to start, asking myself, how was I going to exceed expectations? How was I going to, step up my game? How was I going to become indispensable to my manager? How was I going to make things different from now on? One other thing I had to stop, I'm a last minute person. I had to tell myself, you need to stop this. At least for a while. Like, stop this. You need to be able to do things and deliver even way before time and not just on time. So you need to ask yourself, what are the things I need to stop? What are the things I need to continue? And what are the things I need to start? Please don't write a long list. The top 2 to 3 things for each of them will be fine. So, on that note, I'm telling you today, you need to rise up and be the best you can be, because your world is waiting for you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really hope that you enjoyed today's training. If you did, please drop your comments below. If you have any questions, drop your comments below. I know there are some of those very personal questions that people are like, I can't write this one outside. If you have those kind of questions, you can send me a mail at iphie@iphieadisway.com and I will respond to you. Okay? Thank you very much. Do have an amazing day for the rest of the day. My regards to your family. Success at turning your dreams into reality. And just have an amazing time. Thank you. Bye.